Hey guys, so I have a bit of a confession. I've been pawning off a set of sights as the best CZ defensive sights, and I may have been wrong. Okay guys, so here's the deal. I put out a video a while ago about my frustration with CZ sights, specifically sights for the CZ75. The CZ75 line has been out for a really long time, and the sight options just aren't anywhere close to like mainstream high-end, the really popular concealed carry guns like Glocks, Smith & Wessons, and even now the P10s. But I have found a sighting system that I think is pretty adequate. So, first of all, you've got to understand where I sit with sights. It's not that I don't like fiber optic sights, I just don't prefer fiber optic sights. That being said, I also don't prefer night sights. I sit in this really weird zone where if you can't see the outline of your sights, you probably shouldn't be taking the shot anyway. But I still don't like fiber optic sights that much. So that being said, what I had before was a CZ Custom single dot rear sight. And then I was using the true dot front sight that is found on the SP01 Tactical. Those can also be found on Optics Planet. It's a Meprolite sight. The only one that Optics Planet has is a green version, but it's actually, I kind of like the green a little bit better than the white. But I digress. I've changed that up a little bit. A couple of years ago, I put out a video about a company that was creating some new sights for CZs. At the time, they were specifically for the P07 and the P10 line. They still stand with that. They're still for the P07 and the P10 line. But the ones that I was looking at was the front sight. And if you look at all the sight cuts, CZ's got massive amounts of different sight cuts. Almost every single different line they bring out has a different sight cut. The P10, the P07, the CZ75s, even all the CZ75s aren't the same. The PCR takes a different rear sight than all of the other CZ75s. But the front sights, however, all seem to be pretty much the same. So I decided to put that to the test. So I purchased a front sight for a CZ P07 from Night Fision. Night Fision is a company, they were primarily a tritium vial producing company that decided to delve into the night sight market. And what they do is they actually have an acrylic or rubbery cup that the tritium actually sits in. And they tint that cup to a high-vis color. And that's the part of these sights that I actually really like, is that high-vis cup, the high-vis dot around the tritium. So I ordered one of these sights with the intention of testing it out to see if it works on a CZ75. I compared them a little bit. I will have the installation of those in the last half of this video. So if you're interested in how this went together, check out the last half of the video. I did a little bit more work than is necessary. In all honesty, these sights are drop-in. You can put the Night Fision sight directly on a CZ75 sight cut. The one caveat is that you will have to custom drill the sight retaining pin out. But you have to do that on a lot of purchased CZ75 sights as well. I bought one of the gold dot front sights from CZ Custom, and I had to drill that slot out in that as well. It's really not a big deal. If you've got a drill press, it is not a big deal at all. Again, I've got that installation coming up here at the last half of this video, but I wanted to let you know that you will have to do that. I did a little bit more fitting just to kind of fine-tune where mine sat in the slide, but I actually even used the set screw that came with it. And I tell you guys, this is it. And I was wrong before. As good as the Meprolite is for like a stock sight, it doesn't hold anything on this setup. This setup that I currently have on my P01 is that same CZ Custom rear. I will have a site link in the description down below for this. This is not a direct link. This is a link off to my site that will then link you to these sites, because the CZ Custom one especially, I cannot link directly to CZ Custom. YouTube policies will not let me link directly to a shop that sells firearms, and CZ Custom makes some great firearms and sells them. So I can't link you directly, but if you go to my site down below, you can find all the links to these things. So this is a CZ Custom rear single tritium vial. You can see that tritium dot down there on the bottom. And then the front let me get up here, is our night vision dot. Now, I got the green. They have green, they have yellow, they actually even have blue, they've got orange. They've got tons of colors. And guys, these things, the colors pop. That's one thing that I was a little bit worried about. So I really like the high-vis front dots. I got into it back when I had my Trijicon HDs, which used to be my favorite sights for a while. Not so much anymore. I still like the concept. They're just no better than a lot of the other ones. Now, actually, Ameriglow makes some fantastic ones. But this sight setup that I've got on here is super quick, super accurate, and super easy as far as, like, CZ Sights goes. Just because the only thing that you really have to do is you've got to drill that cross slot. And you could probably do that even with a hand drill. I haven't, just because I have a drill press, so it's relatively easy for me to go out and do that. But guys, this is a pretty simple modification. You can see here, let me see if I can get our sight picture in here without pointing it out myself. So you can see that that front dot is really high vis. Let me get it back over here on the black. And it's a really high vis front dot. And it lines up right in, maybe, there we go, right inside those. The only thing that I would like is, it would be nice if the front dot was a little bit narrower, or I guess technically it would be nice if the rear blade was a little bit wider, because they made that dot as big as they could get it on that sight base. I really, really enjoy this sight setup. As I said, it's really fast to get back on target. Pushing out, the sights just seem to line up a little bit quicker. As you build your grip, they just kind of fall into place, and that high-vis front dot really grabs your attention. So just really quick, this thing is empty. No ammo in it. So another thing about night vision is they actually pack, I believe it's 30% more tritium gas into their tritium vials. So this front dot is actually pretty bright. Now, what that's going to give you, it's not necessarily going to give you great night sight accuracy, because again, if you can't see your sights, the outline of your sights, you probably shouldn't be shooting the thing that you're shooting at. However, a lot of the times when you are shooting from dark to light, if you need multiple shots, things like high-vis dots and fiber optic rods aren't going to be illuminated because you don't have a back or upper light. The tritium in this will actually help you catch that front sight a little bit faster. Maybe. That's the best I got. I really don't know. I need to test this out, this theory. I need to get both my Dawsons out and then this out to see if shooting from dark to light, even though you can see your sight profile, if that helps at all, being able to see the tritium. But guys, this sight setup is downright awesome. I took it to the range. The very first shot was in the center mark of the target. I shoot 10-inch rifle targets, 10 yards, and the very first shot was dead on in the middle of it. Same hold I ran with my normal one. The hold that I usually do is, it's not like a full combat or a full, I don't even remember what the names of them are. I usually about half cover the bullseye area, the center area, and that usually will get me at least pretty damn close to it. But this thing shot dead smack dab in the middle of it, my very first shot. So if you're interested in this sight setup, take a look in the description down below. Keep watching this video and we'll show you how we installed these things. And let me know what you guys think about the sight options for CZ75s, because honestly, the way that sight options go with these things, it's a little bit frustrating, and I think we might have a winner here. Hey guys, Work here, welcome back to the bench. Today, we have got our P01 back out, and we are going to be modifying what I have called the best CZ75 sight setup ever. What are we doing to make it even better? So right now, our front sight, if I can get this thing to, there we go, right here, is a Meprolite front sight. The Meprolite front sight's pretty good. It's got a good sized white dot on there, but I would like to modify that just a little bit to see if I can get that to be a little bit more standout. And the way that I'm going to try to do that is with this. This is a front sight from Night Vision. If you guys look back, Night Vision was one of the sights that we were pretty excited about. Let me see if I can get this thing to, there we go. So this is the front sight right here. This is actually a front sight for a P07 though. You can see that we've got that set screw right in there. So we are going to end up essentially reshaping this, because as you see, we are off in some of our dimensions. This one is a little bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and fix that, and we're going to see if we can get this guy here in where this guy goes. This is just the standard front sight that was on our P01 there. So first up, let's go ahead and grab some dimensions. First of all, let's go ahead and grab our stock height. So our stock height is 5.64 millimeters. Now I typically don't work in millimeters. I'm not a fan. However, this rear sight here is set for a 5.5 millimeter front sight. So at 5.64, we are at 0.64 millimeters taller. That really shouldn't throw off our point of aim, point of impact all that much. Next up, I'm going to switch back to inches, and I'm going to compare our overall length on here. So our overall length on the night vision unit is right at about 0.498 inches. The overall length on our stock P01 sight, 0.479. So 0.479 to 0.497. We've got about 20 thou in overall length we've got to pull off of here. Next up, let's go ahead and look at width. So our width on this one is right at 0.2 inches. The width of our stock 75 sight here is a hair under at 1.98 inches. One thing that I did notice, again zooming in here, is these edges here and here on the stock 75 sight, these are chamfered edges. These aren't sharp edges like they are on our night vision here. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up breaking those edges, taking some overall length out, and seeing if we can get this night vision in where this guy goes. So first, let me go ahead and zoom in. I'm gonna sit these two sights here, and then let's find a tiny Allen wrench and go ahead and remove the set screw on the night vision. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with this set screw yet, but I might actually try putting it back in there and using it depending on how much space we've got in here, just to see how that works with the 75 sight. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and pull that out, set that aside so that we can rework this. Next, I'm gonna grab a set of jeweler's files here and something to hold my sight with. And we're just gonna hold this night vision sight. We're gonna try to take off right up here. What I'll probably do is I'll probably take it back that 20 thousandths that we've got to cut it down, and then I'll put the taper back in once I get it short enough. You know, honestly, maybe we should just take this old one out and see if we can get this new one to fit. Let's do that first. So the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble my P01 here. And let's go ahead and get this front sight out. So I wasn't going to do it in this order, but I actually think we're significantly closer than I thought we were before. So let's go ahead and get this sight out and see just how close we really are at getting this thing to work. Okay. Got our cross pin out. Okay, so we got the retaining pin out. It's right here. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit probably before I put it back in. Let's go ahead and sit that aside. Now let's grab one of these awesome nylon insert punches from Dawson and go ahead and get our front sight off of here. Okay. Easy as that. CZ makes that pretty easy. Now let's see how close this night vision sight is to actually going on here. Oh my goodness. Y'all, that just fit darn near perfect. I'm going to clean up a little bit on the back end of this thing, but that fit really nicely. So hear me out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this edge a little bit to see if I can get it back further, because inside the slide it doesn't quite fit flush right there, and I want it to. So if I'm doing all this, I might as well get it right. So I'm just going to clean up this back edge a little bit, because it's just a tad on the long side. And I'm just using jeweler's files. I've used these files 1,000 different times on 1,000 different CZ projects, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this cleaned up enough to get it to sit completely flush, but I want to try. Okay, here we go. Last fit. And I think that's going to end up doing it, guys. I mean, check that out. So with that, I think we're ready to drill this thing. I don't think the set screw is going to work because it doesn't have the pocket to sit in anymore. Actually, even that's not too bad. So give me a minute, guys. Let me go outside and drill this thing, see if we can get this thing all finished up tonight. I'll be right back. If you're interested in how to drill these, I've got a tutorial on that. Take a look out right up here and you'll be able to see that. In the meantime, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so here's the deal. Since this night vision sight is actually made for a CZ-P07, this doesn't have this shallow drill out here, right here, that the retaining pin on a 75 actually goes through. So we are going to have to take this out to the drill press, and we're going to drill down and through this hole that's in the slide with a 5/64 inch drill bit. And essentially what this is going to do is it's going to come right down in here and waller out this hole in our new sight right through our slide. And that's really the only way that we're going to be able to get this fit perfectly right. So once we do that, we'll go ahead and bring it back in. We'll pop that sight back out, toss a dab of blue Loctite in there, pull it back in, then we'll go ahead and drive that pin in. Now, two things to be careful about here. Thing number one is I did put the retaining screw in for the stock P07 retaining system. That's going to help keep our sight in place. And then two, remember that our drill bit is rotating right. Righty-tighty, that's the way that a drill bit actually rotates. So with that rotating, that means the top side of the drill bit is coming back this way. We want to make sure that our slide is placed in the vise so that as it's going down and as it's taking bites out of our sight here, it's actually pulling the sight back into the slide. If I were to flip the slide over and do it that way, then it would actually be pushing the slide back out, and we don't want that to happen. So we want it to be presented just like this, where the drill bit can come down, go into the slide, pull the sight back into the slide, and cut our hole. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in more on that, go ahead and take a look at this video up here. But I will be right back. Okay guys, so we're back. It is amazing how much longer it takes to set that whole thing up than to actually do it. But the deed is done. Let me put this away. We now have our hole drilled. So now I need to back this screw back out, just like that. Just enough to be able to pull our sight off the front. Now, because we just did a little bit of work to it, may take a little bit of tapping whereas it didn't before. Before it was a just perfectly fine fit. Now it's gonna probably take a little bit of force to get off of there. There we go. And now you can see the work that we just did. You can see our newly, maybe focus, there we go. There you can see our new slot that has been machined into our sight. Machined is a very, I use that term very loosely. Now all that's left to do is throw a little bit of blue thread locker down in this hole here. Again, just because this is a little bit of a loose fit. So we want a little bit of assistance with keeping that sight down in there. Now we can go ahead and put our sight back in. Make sure that it is tapped into where it needs to be. Just like that. So now our sight is in place. We can see straight down through that hole. There you go, you can see right down through that hole. And then let's go ahead and toss that pin back in. There we go. To get it started, go ahead and grab my roll pin punch. Can finish getting that thing in there. And with that, there you go, everybody. That is a night vision front sight on the front of a CZ-75 slide. We're looking at about a 5.6 millimeter height up here. So matched with our 5.5 millimeter rear, we really shouldn't be looking at that much of a height difference. We do have the ability to go to a different rear that accepts a 6.5 millimeter front sight, but I thought that the discrepancy between the 6, obviously, and the 6.5 and the 5.5 in this one, I thought the 5.5 was a little bit closer, so I'm just going to stick with the stock rear anyway. I also didn't want to spend the money on getting a new rear sight while not sure if I could get this one to work. But there you go, guys. Let's go ahead and get this thing back together, and let's see if I like kind of how everything lines up. Oh, that is nice. That is a very nice setup. I did just shoot this gun today for the first time in quite a while, and guys, I'm a fan of this gun. I just think P01 is one of the optimal, if you're looking for a metal carry gun, I just love the P01. It's comfortable, it's just awesome. And there, now you can see our P01 with our night vision front sight. And guys, I am pretty pumped to be able to shoot this thing. So I will get with you here in just a couple of seconds, and you and I will go to the range together. I'll see you there. Alright guys, so now that you've seen the install, you've got the links down below. If you want to give this a try, let me know what you think. I think that this could indeed displace our old best sights ever as the king of the CZ75 defensive sights. Let me know down in the description below what you guys think. Remember, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.